Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever in the world you are. Welcome back to Edify, and today we're going to start a series of little studies, all that are going to build one on top of the other, I hope, through one of my favorite books in the Bible. And we're not going to be going through the whole book. We're not going to be talking about everything in it, but we're going to be talking about some things that are very applicable to current events that you and I are seeing plastered all over the news. Some of you may be living it. And so I want to encourage you with God's word from the book of Nehemiah. Now, getting right into this so that we don't use up all of our time, let's just jump right into Nehemiah chapter 2, verse 1. And I'll give you the context once I read the verse. When Sanballat the Horonite and Tobiah the servant, the Ammonite, heard of it, it grieved them exceedingly that there was come a man to seek the welfare of the children of Israel. Folks, unless you've been living under a rock, you know that there is a war going on in the land of Israel. You know this because it was not long ago that Hamas entered into Israel and did some very horrible things, and then Israel has responded and is responding. Now, I don't know, as of the recording of this video, what has actually happened in the last few days. I don't know if other countries have gotten involved. I don't know if the rapture has taken place. I don't know this because it hasn't happened yet. I'm not God. I don't see the future. However, what I will tell you is that when I read this verse in preparation for sharing this with you today, it stood out to me, even though I already highlighted it in red. It stood out to me because there are so many people that are grieved, that are upset, that are sick at their stomach, that are protesting on the streets around the world, in cities in every nation, over Israel, because they want Palestine to be freed. They want all that, but they want specifically Israel to be gone, the Jews to be gone off the face of the map, nowhere. They want them gone out of Israel specifically, and Jerusalem, but gone, period. The Holocaust years have never left us. Just the opportunity has been taken away. The hate is still here. People hate Israel and the people of Israel today just as much as they did 445 years before Jesus Christ was born. That's when this story took place. 445 BC, long before there was anything going on in the news. The children of Israel had walls that were broken down. So they had been there for a while already. And after being captured, after being overrun by the Babylonians and others, Nehemiah, who was a cupbearer to King Artaxerxes, in other words, he was the one that brought the wine, tasted it, make sure it wasn't poison, and then gave it to the king. He had heard, we see in the first chapter, that the walls around the city to which the King Cyrus had allowed them to go back after captivity. That's a whole different story. But he heard that the walls had been down, and this was a horrible thing. Let me read to you from chapter 1, verse 1. The words of Nehemiah, the son of Hakaliah. And it came to pass in the month Chislew, in the 20th year, as I was in Shushan the palace, that Hananiah, one of the brethren, came, he and certain men of Judah, and I asked them concerning the Jews that had escaped, which were left of the captivity, and concerning Jerusalem. In other words, how those that were either left and those that weren't taken captive and all that, and how the city of Jerusalem was going. And they said to me, the remnant that are left of the captivity there in the province are in great affliction and reproach. The wall of Jerusalem also is broken down, and the gates thereof are burned with fire. And it came to pass when I heard these words that I sat down and wept and mourned certain days and fasted and prayed before the God of heaven. What did he do after that? He went to King Artaxerxes because God put it on his heart to ask for help. And the king gave him letters to go get things that they needed for safe passage and said, yes, you go and you take whatever time you need to go and rebuild the wall. Well, we're going to have to wait until the next video to get into what happens next. But what I want to share with you today for you to keep in mind is that it took someone with a broken heart and a burdened heart to fall on his knees before God, to call out to God for help and for mercy and for his hand of favor on the situation in order to help his people in Jerusalem, in Israel. It took a person who was willing to be heartbroken to see change be made. That's what I want you to think about. Where is your heart in the situation? Don't have a cold heart. Don't have a distant heart. If you really want to make a difference, have a broken heart for the people, the land of Israel. And then ask God what it is that you can do to help, even if it is just pray. Maybe there's something else, but for, oh goodness, whatever, speak up, stand up, be heard when it comes to Jerusalem and the Jews. Don't be silent, because there are many out there who grieve at the very thought of them being helped. And if you know the rest of the story, you don't want to be those people. Well, thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow on Edify.